What's up, guys? Welcome to the DoItMovement podcast. This is your host, Martine Jackson, and I've built my 6-figure, soon-to-be 7-figure, massive real estate business through commercial investing, rental investing, and wholesaling in Virginia. After college, I worked a series of jobs that I absolutely hated and decided to take life into my own hands. What my journey has shown me is one very important thing. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Each week, I bring you a powerful guest or tip to unravel the real estate game, and my challenge to you is that you take some of that knowledge and do something with it. The Do It Movement is here to help you create the life you desire through real estate. Now let's get to it. Hello, today, Do It Movement listeners. This is your host, Martine Jackson. Today, we have in the building the Gabby Evans. How you doing today, Gabby?
Hey. I just felt like I had to be hyped. Hey, Richard.
This is the crowd.
Right? It's got to be energy. I got to be hyped. Yes. How you doing, Martine?
I'm doing well. I appreciate the energy on the podcast today. So for you, loyal listeners, if you heard a podcast episode a couple of weeks ago, Gabby was mentioned in that episode. So Gabby called me out.
Call him out.
But so anyway, but for the folks that, don't know who you are, introduce yourself. How'd you get into real estate?
All right. So my name is Gabrielle Evans, if you want to know my government name. But most people just call me Gabby. I'm born and raised Richmond, Virginia. How I got into real estate, it all started just with the typical path of going to college. My parents told me, go to college, did a good job. So that's what I aspired to do. I went to the James Madison University. Right? I was a double Duke, got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree there because I was just like, hey, I need to go get a good job. Right? Yeah, I was just like, let me just knock it out. So my plan was to work in corporate America. I wanted to be in DC in the hustle and bustle. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be Olivia Pope in my suit on the 12th floor. Yes.
Okay.
That was my vision. I was going to take over. And so that's what I did. Worked for a government consulting firm out there. I was developing training programs for the military. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, this ain't it. I gave my everything to that job. It was a great experience. I got to travel overseas around the US. It was actually a great opportunity. It taught me a lot that really feeds into what I do today. Mm-hmm. But I just felt like I was worth more. I felt like I wanted to just be at the top and just jump into leadership. So anyway, how I got into real estate was I was listening to videos, reading books about finances because I didn't really know how to do like a real budget. And I just really wanted to be on top of my money because I wanted to maybe own a house one day. So I was listening to Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, those kind of finance gurus. Mm-hmm. And when they're talking about finances, they were also talking about real estate in tandem. Mm-hmm. I was like, real estate sounds good. So my plan was I was going to buy a house, live on one side and rent the other side, house hack, and then move out, rent that out. But there was nothing like that in Northern Virginia. There was also, it just seemed like a slow plan. Mm-hmm. So then I found out about wholesaling. I was kind of looking into an easier avenue on how to get into it. So I started sending out direct mail, cold calling after work. I was basically commuting, long commute, like an hour and a half to get to work one way and back. Then after work, I'm cold calling, going on appointments, trying to lock up contracts, trying to get it done. Mm-hmm. You were in the real estate game. We went to college together, by the way, me and Martine.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. We went to AMU at the same time. We knew of each other, but we didn't really like hang.
It wasn't meant to be until after college.
Until after college.
It's like, okay, now we can associate with each other.
Right.
No. But started to learn about wholesaling, and it was just a grind. But basically that was how I learned about it, was through just trying to understand personal finance and learning about what real estate was after that.
Right. So you was out here hustling.
Really hustling.
And it's funny, we kind of, I mean, our story is a little bit different, but it's kind of similar because we both went to JMU. I wasn't a double Duke. I was just one. And I was like, I'm out of here. Not trying to be in the mold. No.
I feel you.
I moved up to the DC area when I graduated, and I was working in DC, living in Maryland, and it sucked. I just thought that, like, because I used to work jobs before going to college and during college, and I thought that, you know, once I got the degree, the job, I would actually enjoy it, and I still hated it. I said, man, this would ever get better than this.
Yeah.
Back to Richmond and doing real estate. So kind of similar stories. Little different. It seemed like you might have enjoyed your experience. You just didn't enjoy, you know, how they were compensating you for the amount of effort and work you were doing.
Right. I wanted to have no limits to my income. I wanted to be able to really build something that would build generational wealth. Mm-hmm. I remember after my first year of working in the corporate world, I want to say I got like a 6% raise, which I think is pretty good when you're working full time. I think that's like typically some people get like a 2% cost of living, but I was like 6%. I gave my life to this. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they said that we got a raise this year. We got a $500 raise. I was like, a check? And they're like, no, this year. I said, in a year, your check's gonna look the same. Like, you're not gonna notice that.
It might add $23.18 to each check.
Yeah, I was just like, sounds like you calculated that before.
Yeah. And, you know, for some people, like, it's good to have a job you're passionate about. But for me, I felt like I knew I was worth more than what I was being paid. And I knew that I wanted to be doing something where I had no limits to my potential. And I feel like that's what real estate has allowed me to be able to do.
Right. So how long have you been doing this full time? How was the transition? Because I feel like you didn't really talk about that.
Yeah. I quit my job September of 2018. Mm-hmm. So I quit my job September 2018. I actually started leasing my own office and had my first employee in April of 2019. So I've been hustling with real estate since 2017. So, but as far as having like a real business with employees, that was April of 2019. So
let's talk about that, because a lot of people, you know, you get into starting your own business and you have the vision of 1.5 people. I feel like most people, they want other people to do the work for them. That's what it seems like. Like they want to get paid off of other people doing the work for them. And I'm not trying to knock it, but what I'm saying is they don't want to put in the effort to condition or train these people to be the type of people that they need to be in order to get the job done. So what I wanted to talk to you about is, like, how was that transition for you, like just doing this on your own and then bringing someone in? And how did you know you were ready? Like, how did you prepare for that? Because I know, like I'm a jump off the cliff and you figure it out on the way down. And I know you're more of a planner. So let's talk about that.
I was talking to you for a while and I was thinking about quitting. You were like, have you quit your job yet? I was like, give me 1 more month.
Some of us quit and some of us get fired.
Yes, I did not get fired. But so basically, learning how to wholesale was just off YouTube. I mean, there's a ton of free information there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really want to press to people. Like, we're in an age of information. Everything is available to you for free at your fingertips. You got books, you've got free seminars, you've got paid stuff you can go to, you've got YouTube University. It is all there. None of this stuff that I'm doing is a secret out here.
Right.
And it's just about applying yourself. It's about having some grind. It's about taking massive action based on what you listen to and not getting into that analysis paralysis type of season. So that was kind of how I learned how to wholesale. It was just through a lot of trial and error, getting stuff under contract and trying to sell it, and failing a lot, falling down a lot, going through a lot of pain, a lot of disappointment, a lot of, going after your dreams and falling down a lot and continuing to go and to pick yourself up. And then I had to invest into courses. I had to invest into mentors. So taking the profits that I got from wholesaling, and I had a mentor for a period of time. I basically did the marketing and brought the deals to the table, and he kind of helped me get things done. And we split everything 50-50. So did that for a period of time. And then I went back on my own. I've invested heavily into Joe Dillon. He is a real estate coach and mentor, invested heavily into his course and program. And then a lot of other programs and courses out there to constantly be learning. But it is an investment into those things. And then through having the right mentors and the right teachers and the right coaches, they taught me how to invest the money into an office space, how to put together job positions, and taking action on what I was learning. So really, it's just kind of about investing the profits that you get back into coursework, or using the money from your job to learn, or even just doing YouTube for free, but taking action on whatever it is that they're teaching you.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that, you're just starting out and you're paying for all these courses, and you kind of come in with the mind frame that if I buy this course, this is the solution to my problem. Yeah. Like, this is going to, by me buying it, just buying it, this is going to solve my problem. And then you buy it, and then you realize, I actually have to do the course. And then once I do the course, I actually have to take the steps. And I think what it kind of boils down to is a lot of folks, I feel like they tap into a lot of the free information. Then you might be a little bit lost, but as you get more experience, you learn. You can go to a meetup, or who asks another investor, how would I handle this type of situation? But I think it comes down to the accountability piece. It's like you get so many times that you don't know how to do it, and you kind of just like, what, maybe it's not for me. So I think that's kind of where a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah, you really have to be relentless. I mean, even with me having a business right now, we have like a 1,500 square foot office, have several employees in each position of the wholesaling process, so that we're doing volume per month now. There's problems every single day. There's problems. It's like, this can't go to closing, or there's this problem with this seller, or sellers want to back out, or buyers want to back out, or the seller wants to change the price, or this and that happens. And so whether you're just starting out or whether you're going to have a large business, you have to be able to overcome obstacles. You have to be able to be relentless. You have to be able to be a fighter. You have to be able to have the right mindset and know how to encourage yourself, know how to take a break, know how to rest, how to endure, how to be literally relentless, whether you're starting out, because it doesn't really get easier. I mean, the bigger your business gets, it's just more problems. So you just have to, you can't change the fact that there are problems, but you can change your mindset towards that. And if you're just looking at starting out, people know what to do. Cold call, drive for dollars. Like, it's all out here. SMS, handwrite letters, but you need to do it. You need to do it on volume. You need to do it when it's painful and when it's boring and it doesn't seem fun. I hated doing that. I had a point where I was like, I hate wholesaling. I hate trying to, like, literally, I felt like that.
Right.
And you have to push past that. It builds your character. It builds your endurance and your ability to push through something that's uncomfortable and not expecting instant results, because it will pay off if you endure.
Right, right. So I guess let's say someone, they're listening, they've been wholesaling, they've been relentless, they're doing everything on their own, and they really want to start building a team. What steps would you suggest that they, take to bring someone else on to their team?
I think they should have a mentor. I think they should have someone that they can turn to for advice for that, because it is a lot to it. Once you have a real business, there's a lot more to think about than just doing deals. Mm-hmm. Now you've got HR. How is leave going to work? How is PTO going to work? Insurance, benefits. How are you going to do a lot, even security with passwords and with all the things that you have going on in your business? There's a lot of things to think about. And I think that you need a mentor. I think you have to be willing to invest in yourself and invest in your business. And you're not always going to find that mentor at a meetup that's going to be willing to just take you under your wing. But there's so many programs. I'm telling you, there's so many coaches and programs and classes and things that you can involve yourself in, where you can link up with other people who are building businesses just like you. And so I would say invest in that and follow what they're telling you to do.
So how would you suggest people go about finding a mentor then, if they're looking to build? Like, how did you find the guy that's been mentoring you?
I found him just off of the same platforms that everyone's on, the social media platforms. You have to look into them, look into their videos, look into the content that they provide, what their course entails, and find what fits you the best. Right. Find what mentor is most appealing to you that really works for your style of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So now you're getting to a point where, you're switching offices because your office is too little. So now you have a big office. And I don't know if how can you get to that point is the right question, but just like, I know they should get a mentor to help them bring people on, but like once they get their first person on, and like how long should they wait until they bring someone else? And like,
well, really, it's as simple as looking at, income minus expenses equals profit. And for a healthy business, you want to be, it really depends on the owner, but I like to be at a 30% profit margin. Mm-hmm. So that means if we look at our income and we look at our expenses and what we have left, what percentage of that is that of what we're bringing in? And that's where you have a margin there. I like to be at 30%. Some people are fine with 20 or 25%. Right. So what you want to look at is what I did was, before I opened up an office, I had done a certain amount of wholesale deals, and I was just saving everything. Mm-hmm. So I knew how much I was able to live off of per month. And so I saved 6 months of that in the bank. Mm-hmm. And then I knew like how much it would be to rent an office space. I needed to buy some computers. So my bank account was pretty heavy at that time, because I had done every single position in wholesaling that there was to do. Mm-hmm. I did the marketing, I did the cold calling, I got the contract, I sold the contract. So this was not a slow thing. Mm-hmm. This took a lot of work, and it took a lot of discipline to save that money. Mm-hmm. Once I saved up that chunk of money, then I really didn't want to leave my house, honestly. I wanted to do the virtual thing. And my mentor was like, you need to start an office. You need to actually do this like a real business. Because I was very conservative and very afraid of the responsibility of having an employee or having several. Mm-hmm. So I got a kind of like an office space where you can rent it by the month. Mm-hmm. And it was just big enough. If I had a picture to pull up, I would give it to you. It was just big enough for me and for that person. And
I stop breathing so hard.
Right. If you please, we are both in this together.
Okay.
So I put the job post out on Indeed, and ended up hiring a car salesman. Mm-hmm. And I found that car salespeople are great acquisitions people. They are excellent because they're used to commission. They're used to doing sales full time. They're used to working very long, very hard hours. So when they come work for you, and it's like, an 8-hour day, it's like a vacation for them. So they're hustlers, they're hard workers. They're used to the demands of the car business is very hard on them. So they're very disciplined salespeople. And it's an easier transition. They just need to go from like car numbers to house numbers, but they already understand the sales cycle. They already understand leads and building up their pipeline and all those things. So I hired a car salesman. I already had money to pay him for 2 months. So that's what the idea was like month 1 was going to be hard, heavy training. I have a training background. I used to do training for the military in my government job. So I developed a training program with the help of my mentor. So month 1 was training him. Month 2 is like, we're sitting together, doing this together. And I already knew how to lock up deals. So I was locking up deals with him together. Like we were both on the phone with the seller, but any deals that we got, he would get a percentage of it as though he did it himself. And we just continued to do that until he was able to come from under my wing, which didn't take long because he was already a salesperson and he was hungry for it. And what we pay is a lot better than what the car business pays as well. So it worked out pretty well. So then once we were able to build up enough money, we're looking at the goal for him is to get at least 1 contract per week. So if our minimum deal size is of a certain size, we can expect a certain amount to come in every month. I know how much our office lease is, how much Podio costs, how much all of our subscriptions cost. And so if I look at our bank account, we need to have at least X amount of months in the bank account plus where we're going. And that's how we prepare to go there. So even when you're moving up to an office, you're taking a risk. You're definitely taking a risk. So you have to be comfortable with risk. But as we were able to level up, it was because of looking at history and looking at our projected income numbers, and then looking at where our expenses were and making sure that we had X amount of expenses in the bank. So it's like, hey, if we don't do a deal for 3 months, which is very rare, like that wouldn't happen, but let's say that did happen, and then it's like, we can still survive off of that. And then we need to determine what we need to do from there. So that's how we kind of level up and move up from office to office.
So, and then when do you know it's time to add someone else?
When it's getting too heavy for the person that's doing it. So we were at a point where we had one person doing dispositions and transactions, which is selling all of our deals after they're under contract and making sure that they get to closing. And when she's at the point where she's like overwhelmed and stuff is slipping through the cracks, then we need to separate those positions into 2. And she's relieved. That shows you it was a great time to make that next hire. And then that person is able to train the next person on that role because she was doing both.
Okay. So I know you mentioned that your mentor kind of pushed you to get the office space. But I guess for someone that may be thinking if they should do virtual or should they do office, how do you think they would be able to make that determination? Because like you can pretty much set the business up how you want. Like me, I have a virtual business. We don't have an office. Well, I have an office space. But it's like, it's just like I don't go there that often because I don't like being in an office personally. But how would you help someone to, see which way to go? Yeah.
It really depends on what type of person you are. The whole point of starting your whole business is to have the freedom to decide what you want to do. Do you want to wholesale from Uganda? Do you want to have an office? For me, I love having an office because I like getting up and going somewhere. I like being able to design the look and feel of where we are. We make pancakes together on Friday. We order food. We have a very family oriented vibe. We play music and stuff like that. And I like the face-to-face feel. I also want to be right there to hold you accountable to like, hey, let's push. I can see you're chilling. Let's go after it. Let's be hungry today. And if you love being at home and you want to do a business where you can make money and be in the bed, then all power to you. I don't think that anything is wrong. There's people who really have a lot of success with the virtual model. You just have to make it. And success looks different for different people. So I don't think there's any one wrong way to do it. I think just make something work that works well for you.
Yeah, I think like for me, since mine is virtual, we have to have a lot of checks and balances, holding people accountable, of hitting their goals and things like that. Because me personally, I love waking up in my pajamas and walking to the office downstairs.
I like coming into the office and seeing our name on the board, seeing our name on the wall. Like, I like that. So, I mean, we're different people.
I'm thinking, like, oh, it feels like it feels like the place I tried to leave or the place I left.
Yeah, so different strokes for different folks.
Right. Okay, so are there any other recommendations or advice that you'd like to give people that like maybe something you would have known from the beginning?
Yeah. I think that having systems and processes in place is extremely important. You have to have your business on lock, whether it's on a virtual business, whether you have an office, whether you're by yourself. You need to know your numbers. You need to know your budget. You need to know what's going on inside, outside, through, in between. There shouldn't be many surprises. Well, there are going to be surprises, but you should be as prepared as possible despite those surprises that will come up. So we're a very structured business. It's always more to be done, but I would say we're pretty structured. So we run everything in the cloud on Dropbox. And we're very organized with having a folder for our business, overall business. And I say but we're such a team-oriented environment, but we have a folder for the business. Then we have a folder for marketing, acquisitions, dispositions, and transactions. So marketing, how the leads are going to come in, acquisitions, how we're going to secure the contracts, the scripts, dispositions, how we're going to sell the contracts after we get them to our end buyers, and transactions, how we're going to make sure it goes to closing as quickly and as smoothly as possible. And then in the business folder, you have everything regarding your finances, your HR, your office equipment, your mission, vision, values, all those things in there as well. So we run a tight ship and making sure we know our KPIs, our key performance indicators, and our numbers in the business.
Yeah, numbers are everything.
Yep.
So are there any books you would recommend to people that you think helped you a lot, or something that you think that can help them?
Yeah, I would say reading Traction is huge. I refer back to Traction to make sure that we're following the structure that they place in. I actually have it in my laptop bag.
Our core values in the background.
Yeah, right. So we definitely abide by the things that are in Traction. So we have our hierarchy, our org structure. We do our morning meeting every single Monday. So in our Monday morning meeting, we're looking at what are the goals for this week, today, this quarter? Are we on track with where we're looking at being this year, this week, this month, this quarter? We look at, okay, marketing. Did we produce enough leads according to our goals? Acquisitions. We literally look at how many outbound dials did you make? How many conversations did you have? How many quality conversations did you have? That's based on how long the talk time was. How many hot leads are you working on? What are you expecting to close this week? What issues are you facing? What questions you have? Then we look at dispositions. What deals are under contract? What deals have been out for marketing or are not put out yet? What deals are under contract, need to be assigned, have title issues? And then transactions, where are we? So everything is tracked, and we go over that in our morning meeting. And so the whole team should understand exactly where we are. And we post our core values, our mission, our vision, our values. We have a company verse that we abide by, and we make sure that all those things are understood and posted in the office at all times, so that we're all on the same page. We're all rowing in the same direction.
Right. No one's rowing against.
Right. Exactly. So Traction is a big book. And then the other one would be Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. Is another book that's really good.
Is it kind of
like Traction? It's like Traction, but it's like the next level. So you're really looking at running it kind of like a bigger business that's making more money. So you're looking at going to the next level of traction in your business.
All right. Some good recommendations.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, I'm about to wrap this episode up. And before we do that, I wanted to see if there was anything else that you wanted to add. Any plugs, any some people, they like to shout out, oh, well, follow me on,
Right.
Up to you.
I don't know where I can be found.
I'm in hiding.
I might really be on social media, honestly. I can be found on Facebook. My username is Gabby Evans. IG is Gab's Goals, with a Z in it. And I think that's it. And then, no, other than that, we're out here in Richmond, Virginia. So come see the capital city.
Okay, well, you gave us some really good insight. I don't know if anybody listened to this is more like me, meaning like, you read Traction and it's so boring that you just can't read the book. I would suggest for those people to find someone that is good at that and pay them to help you, because that's what I did. And actually, I had the person that did that for me on the podcast. Yeah. So,
for me, that's VAs. VAs are the key to that. So virtual assistants. So hiring people who can do the repetitive every single day things. All you have to do is make a system and task them to do it, and they'll do it day in and day out from that day forward. So you kind of just have to go through one day of pain to put the system in place and train them to do it, and then just make sure it's done and check on the numbers.
Right. But thanks for being on the podcast today. I really do appreciate it. You gave some valuable content. Hopefully it will be helpful for the people that, they want that office space. They want to hire people, but they just don't know how. Like the main thing that I kind of hear from people is, well, I want to train someone to like come onto my team, but what if they leave? What if they start their own business? And I don't know if people ask that because they're coming from a scarcity mindset, but I think you helped make it a little bit clearer for folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. So thanks for being on. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is fun.
No problemo. But until next time, Do It Movement listeners, see ya.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys, for checking out the Do It Movement podcast this week. I hope we inspired you to make some power moves now. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us for more info on our guests and new episodes at Do It Movement Pod on Instagram and at DoItMovementPod.com. Make sure as you apply some of this knowledge, you tag us along the way by adding #DoItMovement so that we can recognize the change makers. See you next week.